If we don't have discourse, we don't have growth.
Mm-hmm. Of course, in your reflection now, you can see things that you wish you would have known or that would have helped you to be more effective in doing what you do now. So others don't have to necessarily go through that.
Right.
You mentioned the internship. Outside of the internship, what else would you want to be? What would you tell the younger version of you?
Yeah. So I would also tell myself, so right now, even going into merchandising with the Black Mall, I created a barrier for myself that I didn't even realize I created it. We didn't start off with the product. We started off with the directory because it was just like, well, we said we're going to just do a directory. Other people do store stuff. That's not what our biggest know. That's not what we really know about. That's not, other people do stores and merchandising. And then, but something started bubbling inside of me. Like, man, you probably should really think about putting Black products on the site too. But there was some imaginary parameter that I had in my head that said, no, don't do that. And there was no good reason. So what I would say is when you start feeling those urges, when you start to feel that there's something else inside of you that needs to come out, or there's a new idea that may be outside of your comfort zone, start to explore it at least. Mm-hmm. Go again, I say, shadow someone else that's doing it. Work in an industry that does that same particular thing and see this is something that you could be good at and that you can bring another spin that would actually fulfill a need in your community or whatever target and demographic you wanted to put it towards.
Okay. Anything else that you think about that's
yes.
You speaking to yourself?
Right.
But what else would you give those?
Mentorship earlier.
Okay.
Mentorship inside that particular field. We did a lot of the stuff. You never do anything alone, but I didn't seek that continued professional development. We're just now starting to do that. Having people that work in this particular industry that have been doing it for a long time, mentorship is amazing. And mentorship in multiple levels. So you want to have a mentorship in whatever industry that you're in, okay, and find the best qualified person that's willing to let you shadow them, be mentored, by them. So you can have that lane. You want to have your mentorship in, so if you're, a man or a woman, you want to have a good sister circle, a good brotherhood circle around you so that you're just constantly growing as an individual. I think you should also have mentorship, of course, a guide spiritually, mm-hmm, whatever that looks like, whatever religion, denomination, or just spiritual awareness and awakening. You want to have someone that you trust that is already on that path, around you. Whatever you want to do great in life, find other people that are doing it amazing and be around them. Mm-hmm. Get that energy. Those are the things that, I wish I could have been started earlier doing.
Your partner.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't something that Sister Cassieopia just did by herself.
No.
Can you talk about your partner and just how the birth of the Black Mall?
Yes, right. So he likes to tell the story this way. Dre and I started the Black Mall because we were hungry, right? Literally. And we went to all these different Black-owned restaurants and loved them. And some of them, my aunt and uncle were avid supporters of Black-owned businesses, especially restaurants. So they kind of gave us a little bit of oh, go here, go there, go this other place. So we tried these places. We hadn't heard of them before. They were really, really good. Mm-hmm. And so both me and him were like, man, we got to go and tell these other people about these businesses that they're missing out on. And at first, the reception wasn't what we wanted it to be or thought it would be, for various reasons. Some of them I don't even care to talk about no more because people have grown past it. But one of the most important reasons we found out was the fact that awareness, which again, of course, ties back into education.
Right.
And we were like, okay, people just really don't know about it, to know that Black excellence is amazing and around us in high quantities, because they weren't advertising. They weren't making people aware of those businesses. So that's really, how we started it. And again, he went to Florida State, got a degree in psychology, but deeply studied African American or just African studies, really, from the continent, to where we are here in America. And I studied marketing, so we were able to kind of put that psychology, that culture, that business experience into building this amazing creature that has developed into its own evolution.
Now, one of the things Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad talked about was the importance of pooling your resources. And it sounds really good, and of course it just makes sense when you look at it on the outside. But when you look more deeply at it, that's not something that's necessarily always that easy. So the thought of pooling your resources, you got these, the more the merrier, some would say, right?
Yeah.
But can you talk about that struggle? Well, first let's talk about the struggle, and we'll end out on the benefits and how that has helped the success.
Actually, I'm gonna be for me, and different people have different barriers for different reasons. But we've been really blessed not to have much of a struggle in getting access to other resourceful people for whatever they're resourceful for. As Tequila say, there's so many different types of capital, right? Your social capital, your land capital, your actual financial capital. And so when we started, it was really for us getting past the ask, that pride, the human ego that is more of the struggle than actually the person that you want to connect with saying potentially no. So had to get past that and thinking that you've got to do everything by yourself, and that just doesn't make sense. That's not how the world works. We're all connected. The globe, the earth is a circle for a reason, because it keeps everything connected and constantly recycling itself and evolving. So we're all doing this together. And we were able to really start to ask people in different settings, how we can connect. And I think what makes pulling resources easier is when you don't come into it one-sided. You come offering an exchange. If you don't necessarily have the finances to pay that person outright exactly what they state their value is, offer them a value that they could potentially need and that you can give them. And it's an exchange of services. And in that way, now we're kind of going back to our traditional ways back on the continent when people were bartering. And because when it boils down to it, you're going to use the money for something anyway, right? So if I have that something that you need, then we could skip all of the middle, items and go right to what's needed from both of us.
So no struggles with having a partner. Starting a business with somebody else that doesn't necessarily have the same exact vision, and how we're going to move forward. There's definitely,
sometimes we're not in agreement.
Because I'm like, wait, she said no issues with me?
Right. There was, in the beginning when, we started, he's actually not comfortable with business. He did not like to ask for funds or anything. He's kind of like a big humanitarian, Gandhi-like, and it's just like, I just want to help people, And I'm like, and I do too. But while we're extending ourselves and exerting our energy and our time, now we're hungry. We just gave someone else everything that they need to be able to develop and grow their business, and our stomachs are growling. So over time, it's communication. It is very rare that everyone's going to be in the same ingredients at the exact same time. But if we don't have discourse, we don't have growth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things have to be agitated to sometimes learn to develop and grow even larger. So those things are needed. We just sit, we write it out, and go over what's really the priority and where we can kind of come to, a middle ground on. And then sometimes we defer to the person who, at whatever the decision is based on, who has the most experience in that. You know what? That's your lane. You're real good at that. I trust your decision in it. So trust is a major factor in it. So yeah, discourse definitely happens. Cause to this day. But with a good partnership, when you have like communication, and then we're constantly developing different ways to communicate even better. That's a part of even our growth. And it really helps us to keep moving forward and getting better.
Thank you for your time. We pray that you enjoy. Please visit us at thecollective9.org.